Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron and welcome back today to another live stream. Welcome back to another show. It's actually the first episode of a new show that I'm going to call the Talking Rubbish Transfer Show. And we're going to do this every single week on Monday night. I wanted to add a little bit of consistency to the channel, especially obviously through these times at the moment when, you know, everything's a little bit up in the air. I didn't want to just say on a Friday that we'll be doing a Q&A on a Monday and then mix and match things. I wanted to add a little bit of consistency. So we're going to be doing the Talking Rubbish Transfer Show every single Monday night, every single Monday evening, obviously until the Premier League comes back, until football returns. And we're basically going to be going through a load of transfer rumours from the previous week, and we're going to be marking them from rubbish to feasible to make this happen. And there's different things that go into each one of those categories, and I'll explain them in just a second. But we're going to go through some of the transfer rumours that I've seen personally in the last sort of week or so, and we're going to mark them based on whether I believe they're rubbish or whether I believe they're actually quite feasible and may happen. Because it's, we're at that time at the moment where, transfer rumours are flying in left, right and centre. They usually are anyway, even when football's ongoing. This time around March, April, when we're getting towards the end of the season and the summer transfer window is slowly approaching, you start to see stories from left, right and centre, journalists making stories up, linking names with various different clubs for mad amounts of money. So this is a very, very popular time for journalism and very, very popular time for transfer rumours specifically. It's even more popular now, obviously, that we've got the whole quarantine and the whole self-isolation and the fact that there's no football and nothing's being played, and journalists have got a lot more time on their hands than what they usually would have. So there's even more rumours, there's even more bits of news to go over. So I've got a few that we're going to go over today. Hopefully you really like this episode. If you do like this, give it a like. Let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know you're live if you're watching it live, if you're watching it as a YouTube video. Let me know if you want to see this return next week, and we'll go through a whole list of rumours. So like I said before, there's a few things that are going to go into each category. So in the rubbish category, it's not just going to be transfers that I think would never happen or would have no chance of happening. So if I was to say a transfer rumour was put in rubbish, it wouldn't be that it's complete rubbish and it'll never happen. It's more so that it's a bit of complete rubbish and it'll never happen, but also a little bit of I really, really don't want it to happen, and please, please, please don't happen. In the maybe section, and it might do is going to be obviously it's feasible, it might be feasible, it may happen, and then I'll give my opinion as to whether I believe it will or won't, and the probability, and make this happen. Obviously is going to be the segment that I'm putting transfer rumours in that I say, make it happen, let's get it done as soon as possible, and it's feasible as well. I'm not just going to say if some random news reporter comes out with Lionel Messi to Everton tomorrow, I'm not going to come on next week and go make it happen, because obviously it's not feasible. That would, for example, go in the rubbish category because it's never going to happen. So anyway, yeah, let me know your thoughts on the sort of, the general plan of the show. Let me know your thoughts on the idea. Be really, really interested to hear what everybody has to think. I'll try and get some graphics sorted with Joe over the next week or so. So next week we can have a couple of badges maybe that come up just to show whether I believe it's rubbish or feasible or whatever. So maybe we'll get working on that in the next week, but it's an idea I only come up with yesterday, so give me a little bit of time on that one. But we're going to fly straight into it. Why waste any time? Let's fly straight into it. The first rumour I wanted to talk about, and it's the title of this live stream, is Bernard, and the title is Bernard is going nowhere, and that all comes from a rumour that was actually produced by Calcio Mercato, who I believe are an Italian publication, an Italian newspaper, I believe they are, and they basically put out a transfer rumour to state that Bernard is somewhat unhappy at Everton, and Everton are actually willing to move Bernard on, and Roma are really, really interested, and apparently the player is interested in moving, and obviously going back to be managed by his former boss Paulo Fonseca, who was managed at Schalke Donetsk. So obviously as soon as this one come out in the papers, as soon as this one come out in social media, got a lot of eyes raised, it got a lot of people wondering. The actual rumour was written as if it said like Bernard has been offered to Roma. However, Carlo Ancelotti is happy with the player and feels like he could be part of the future. So it led to the questions on social media being very much like, well, if Carlo Ancelotti's happy with the player, then who's offering him out to other clubs? Is it his agent? Is his agent trying to force a move? And why would his agent be trying to force a move if the player himself doesn't want to move? Is it Marcel Brands? Who is it? What's going on? If Carlo Ancelotti's happy, why is the player being offered to other clubs? And obviously, like I said, it made a little bit of sense with the Roman and the Paulo Fonseca connection from Shakhtar Donetsk, and I think this is something that you're going to see with a lot of these rumours over the weeks, is that there is connections here and there, and there is things that make these a little bit more feasible than they would usually be, but it doesn't mean in any way, shape or form that they're going to happen or that they're likely to happen. We've seen the rumour for, months and months and months now about Hervé Lozano and linking him, and how his relationship with Marcel Brands could have a detrimental effect on if he ends up at Everton next season or not. And then Ancelotti come in, and it was like added to that because Ancelotti managed them at Napoli, and despite that connection with Ancelotti, despite that connection with Marcel Brands, there's still nothing more in Hervé Lozano moving to Everton other than the fact that there's rumours out there. I don't think there's been any formal approach anyway by the club that we know about. They're probably interested in him because he's a very good player and he will come into a position that we need to strengthen in, but there's nothing as solid as what we are being read that's there. And again, we're seeing a little bit of this with the Bernard rumour. Obviously there's links between him and Paulo Fonseca, but Bernard rubbished this straight away, and this goes straight into the rubbish category. If I had a button, I wouldn't have even had to finish my sentence there, and I'd put the button up into rubbish, because Bernard come out on Instagram. I think it was actually the Toffee Blues Instagram. The Toffee Blues tweeted, Instagram put on picture of Instagram of Bernard, and then the rumour in the caption, and Bernard actually commented on the post saying this is basically a load of crap, this is rubbish, this is a lie, and it's not going to happen. So if you've got Carlo Ancelotti coming out and saying he's happy with the player, and then a transfer rumour stating that the player might be unhappy or that the player's agent might be unhappy, and then the player comes out and responds to it and says it's absolute bollocks really, and I'd probably call it the show that if YouTube wouldn't strip me down for it. But yeah, for the player to come out himself and say it's a lie and it's not going to happen, it just shows exactly what to make of these transfers. And I think it's really, really important that we think of these situations when we're looking at other transfer rumours, whether they benefit Everton or whether they don't benefit Everton. As you're not always going to get a player like Bernard who will comment on an Instagram post and say this is a lie, or this isn't happening, or this is totally wrong. A lot of players will be advised to just leave it alone and not answer it and not pay attention to it, and that's when things start to sort of brawl up. And if Bernard would have ignored this, I dare say within a couple of days time we'd have seen another rumour linking Bernard with Roma, saying he's more unsettled and he's looking towards his future, and he's getting on in the uncertainty, etc, etc. But the fact that Bernard's come out already and said that it's a lie, and that he's got no intention of moving is really, really good. And big up to Bernard for doing that as well. It didn't stop the journalist. Literally the very next day, I'm not too sure which publication it was. I don't know whether it's Calcio Mercato again. Don't quote me on that. I'm not too sure who it was. But again, another publication the very next day after Bernard come out and said, listen, he's not going anywhere and it's a lie. There was another rumour the next day to state that he's still interested in going to Roma, and that Roma are still interested in making that deal done. And you sort of just, at that point, you sort of just look at it and laugh it off and think, bloody hell, you are so desperate to make people click on your page, or so desperate to make rumours out of nothing, because the player literally come out yesterday and said it's a lie and he's not moving anywhere, but they're still persistent on running that story. But anyway, that's the first rumour. If you've seen it on social media, if you're on Twitter, if you're on Instagram, I'm sure you've seen it. The rumours linking Bernard with a move to Roma and a move away from Everton this summer. He has come out and said it's a lie himself, so that one goes straight into the rubbish category. Bish bash bosh. I'm just going to tweet the stream out whilst everybody takes a sip of the cup of tea and realises Bernard isn't going anywhere. Just on Bernard for a second, I just want to say I'm a big fan of Bernard. I really am. I expect a little bit more from him, to be perfectly honest with you. Obviously, when football returns, and we know it's not it's not a necessity at the moment, or it's not something that we should really be massively thinking about because there's bigger issues in the world. But when football does ultimately return, I would like a little bit more from Bernard. I watched the clip of Bernard yesterday, the game against Watford earlier this season, where he picks up the ball on the left hand side, he cuts in and he drills a shot hard and low into Ben Foster's right hand side, and like I said, it's hard and low and it goes straight in. And those are the type of goals, those are the type of things you want to be seeing from Bernard week in, week out, picking the ball up from the in the outside, cutting into the inside, and then literally hammering in a goal, having a shot. I think Bernard's confidence recently and ever since he joined Everton really has been a little bit shaky. He hasn't looked like he wants to shoot in an awful lot of situations. Sometimes he's looked like he wants to take on every single man on the opposition team twice and then rolling onto the goal line rather than having a crack. He's been in loads of brilliant positions, and instead of shooting, he's passed it back or he's moved it on, and sometimes you scream at him like, shoot, have a go lad, have a go, because he can produce it. We've seen him for Shakhtar produce some fantastic goals, but that goal against Watford truly was a brilliant goal. On the day when you're seeing it, and you're watching it live and you're seeing it, you think, oh, good bit of playing, a decent finish. But it's not till you actually watch it again and you realise what we're missing in this squad. We miss a winger, we miss a player who sits on that wing, brings the ball in, and it's ever since Richarlison obviously has moved over to to striker with Dominic Calvert-Lewin. We haven't got anybody on the wing who picks the ball up from that position, and they have other thoughts other than let me just get this ball in the box. Their other thoughts are let me cut inside and let me have a go. Lukaku used to do it all the time for us, and I know he wasn't a winger. I know he was a striker, but he used to drift over to the wing. He'd pick the ball up on the wing. He done it against Arsenal 6 years ago today. Everton beat Arsenal 3-0 at Goodison Park, and one of the best performances I've seen from an Everton team ever in my 21 years of existence. It was the game when Lukaku scored, Stephen Naismith scored, and Arteta scored the own goal. The one where Seamus Coleman was basically just having everyone off with his skill moves. He had Santi Cazorla off. But Lukaku done it in that game. He picked the ball up from the wing. He cut inside using his power and his pace, and he drilled it bottom corner. And we've seen Bernard do that against Watford, and I really, really want to see Bernard do that an awful lot more, because I like Bernard, and don't get me wrong, I know a lot of people say, will he come in on a free, but he's getting paid silly amounts of money a week, and that's true, and that's for me why I expect more out of Bernard. I think technically he's probably our best and most skillful player technically on the ball, but I do expect a little bit more from him in terms of final product, because when you can see he can do stuff like that, you do want him to do a little bit more of that sort of week in, week out, rather than just the odd occasion. So anyway, we've banged that one straight in the rubbish category. It's rubbish. He's not going anywhere. He's pretty much confirmed that the rumours are lying. If he was to go to Roma, at the end of this season, or if there was to be a potential move anytime in the future, it wouldn't be based off these transfer rumours that we've seen, because it's quite clear, coming from the player himself, coming from the man himself via his Instagram account, that the rumours are a lie. So they're into the rubbish. Before we go on to the next transfer rumour, I do just want to briefly talk about Moise Kean a little bit. It's in the title, Moise Kean happy at Everton. There hasn't been a rumour surrounding this for this week or for the last couple of weeks, but there's been multiple rumours over the last sort of 2 or 3 months or so, so I thought we'd just catch up with this one. Basically, if you didn't see Moise Kean's Instagram last night, he done a little bit of an Instagram Q&A. A lot of the players are doing Instagram Q&As and things like that at the moment to pass their time and to have that engagement with the fans, which I think is really, really good and really, really important as well to to be able to allow the fans to engage with the players, even if it's not face-to-face, even if it's not on the match day. And Moise Kean was asked a specific question basically yesterday saying, are you happy at Everton? And it was as broad as can be, it was as blatant as can be, no hiding around it, no beating around the bush, bang in your face, are you happy at Everton? And the player come out and said, yes lad. And he come out and he said, yes lad, and he looked, in all his other Instagram videos of him dancing around and him having fun. He's got an Everton shirt on of himself, his own Everton shirt in a frame on his wall, and he simply answered with yes lad. It was a broad question, it was a broad answer, and the reason I wanted to bring this up is because there's been a lot of rumours in the last 2-3 months, etc., linking Moise Kean away from Everton, the fact that he mightn't be happy that he's not getting enough game time, the fact that he expected more when Ancelotti come in and he hasn't had it. We've seen all of the rumours in Italian publications, in English publications, in English newspapers. We've seen them all as to say that Moise Kean isn't happy in Everton and he wants to move away and it didn't work out for him. And there's various teams in Italy that want to bring him back. It's very, very clear now, again, from the player himself. Fantastic that we're seeing the players themselves actually coming out and addressing these things, that he is happy at Everton and that he's in good spirits. You can see that by the rest of his videos. You can see that by the rest of his pictures. He wants to work hard and he wants to train. And you can't really blame him, can you? He's being managed by the best Italian managers to ever grace the earth. And he's being managed by one of the best managers to ever grace the earth. And in the top 3 most successful managers in the Premier League and possibly even in the world at the moment. So, it's understandable as to why he's happy. But again, I think that put a lot of Evertonians at ease yesterday. There was a lot of happiness on social media after he come out and said that, and it was simply just asked a straight up question, are you happy at Everton? And he responded with yes lad, and again, it does rubbish an awful, so I suppose it does fall into the category, it does rubbish an awful lot of those transfer rumours that we've been seeing popping up here and there for the last 2 or 3 months about the potential of him not being happy and the potential of him moving on, of course. If you're enjoying the stream so far, please do hit that like button. It only takes a second. Subscribe to the channel if you're new as well. Just 20 subscribers away from 1,700 now, so if you've subscribed already, get the stream shared, get the channel shared. Let's get it to all Blues all over the place, and anybody that's interested in football really, and let's get as many people on as possible. If you're enjoying the stream, if you're enjoying this new show, Talking Rubbish Transfer Show, we're going to be doing it every Monday from 5:30 whilst we're in this lockdown. Something to look forward to, something to address the rumours. Again, obviously it's all my opinion. I'm rubbish in the Bernard transfer rumour because the players come out and rubbished it himself, but it's all all my opinion. So if you're enjoying it, get it shared. Let's leave a like. Let's see how many people we can get in here as possible. So anyway, we've addressed that one. So Moise Kean's happy at Everton. He doesn't want to leave. He enjoys it. He loves the Blues. He's got a framed shirt. He's doing loads of dances. He loves his life. Belter, absolutely boss. On to the next transfer rumour, because that wasn't really a transfer rumour. On to the next transfer rumour. And again, a little bit like the Bernard one, I'm going to stick this right in rubbish before I've even explained it to you. And let me know what you think, of course, on every single one of these in the live comments. If you're watching as a YouTube video, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below to the YouTube video. But the next one is Gareth Bale being linked to a move to Everton. Now, the actual rumour come from Marca and 90 Minutes as well, which are two separate platforms, journalist platforms, whatever you want to call them, whatever you would call them, publications. And both both reported that Gareth Bale is unhappy at Real Madrid, and Aaron Ramsey was unhappy at Juventus. And they put it out as, you know, Welsh duo unhappy, and Everton could potentially prepare an audacious sweep for the pair of them. Now again, there's links there. Again, there's links with Gareth Bale and Carlo Ancelotti. Bale worked under Ancelotti at Real Madrid. There's not as heavy a links with Aaron Ramsey, other than the fact that Aaron Ramsey and Gareth Bale are international teammates. But again, I'm going to put this one in rubbish straight away. Discussing Gareth Bale specifically, we'll speak about Aaron Ramsey separately, because I want to make sure we separate these rumours, because as one rumour together, are we going to go in the summer and purchase Gareth Bale and Aaron Ramsey together? No, I really don't think we are. We couldn't afford the wages of definitely one of them, definitely both of them, but specifically one of them, and I just don't see it happening. I really don't. So we'll split the rumours and we'll talk about Gareth Bale first. Gareth Bale didn't have the greatest of relationships with Carlo Ancelotti when he was at Real Madrid anyway. Carlo Ancelotti very famously come out and questioned his attitude and questioned his work ethic, obviously. And let's be honest, Gareth Bale hasn't had the greatest career at Real Madrid. He was a fantastic player and still is a fantastic footballer, fantastic at Spurs, had a really good couple of seasons, and then took his opportunity to go and play for one of the biggest sides in world football. And whilst he's been successful there in terms of goal ratio and game time, etc., his attitude off the pitch, he hasn't got a good relationship with the fans. It's just a toxic mix there. So it's understandable. Gareth Bale will be linked away from Real Madrid in every single transfer window until he evidently leaves the club. And now that Everton have brought in Carlo Ancelotti, now that Everton have got a big name manager, a manager of that calibre, we're starting to be linked with players like that. Players that are top players, but also, you know, realistically, the likes of Manchester City probably wouldn't go for. You know, Barcelona probably wouldn't go for. PSG probably wouldn't go for, because they've got other players in those positions that can do the job. Like I said, I'm going to rubbish the Gareth Bale rumour straight away. Sorry to burst anyone's bubble if anyone's excited. It's for me, it's only feasible on the basis that Gareth Bale worked with Carlo Ancelotti. And like I said at the start of the season, like I said when we were talking about the Bernard rumours, a lot of these rumours that we'll see over the next 2 or 3 weeks or so, and the next couple of months or so, I'll continue doing this show, by the way, even when football comes back. It obviously just won't be on a Monday, because that'll be the game review. But a lot of the rumours that we're going to see in the next couple of months or so, and certainly throughout the summer transfer window, are going to have these little tiny links where a player might once have played under Marcel Bielsa's PSV, or might once have been on the reserves bench, you know, at a Carlo Ancelotti side, or Carlo Ancelotti might, you know, have managed them for a couple of games. We're going to see a lot of it, because Ancelotti's managed a lot of top sides and a lot of top players, so we're going to see a lot of these links. And like I said, Gareth Bale's one of those players that he's not your Cristiano Ronaldo's who Ancelotti's managed, or your I'm trying to think of another player that's still actually playing that's as world class. You know, your Chiellini's, or you know, he's not that type of level of player that Carlo Ancelotti's managed, your Ibrahimovic, etc. But he's the type of player that, you know, potentially, even though it's never going to happen, could, without the, you know, not without the realms of possibility, join Everton. But like I said, I'm rubbishing it straight away on one fact and one fact only, realistically, and that's the wage that Gareth Bale would demand. Gareth Bale wouldn't come to Everton. He's not an Everton fan. He doesn't, you know, he hasn't grown up like an Everton for all we know. Wasn't born an Everton fan. He's got no alliances. He's got no loyalties towards Everton. So he's not going to come to Everton and take a massive pay cut. That man is on about 400,000 to £500,000 a week, or euros a week, whatever. He's getting paid lucrative amounts of money to sit and play golf in Spain. He's not going to come over to Liverpool to play for Everton on probably less than 5%, 10% of the wage he's getting now, because he's not getting anywhere near 400, 500k. A, financial fair play wouldn't allow it, and B, we simply wouldn't pay it. We wouldn't be paying Gareth Bale any more than 150 grand a week for me. And when you look at it, that's a potential 350,000 pound drop in wages for him to come to a club that he's got no loyalties to and he's got no alliance to. It's just simply not going to happen. Again, it's another rumour that's been totally made up on the basis that Carlo Ancelotti once managed Gareth Bale at Real Madrid. And when you start to think about the transfer fee that he'd still cost us, even if he come on a free, the wages that he cost us per week would be absolutely astronomical. We wouldn't be able to do it through financial fair play, and we wouldn't do it anyway because he wouldn't be worth it. He wouldn't be worth it to the club. And then adding on to that, you've got the fact that at his previous club, Real Madrid, he spent, 6 or 7 years there with an absolutely awful attitude, and he's had such a poor relationship with the fans. And if there's one type of player you don't want to bring to Everton Football Club, it's a player with a bad attitude. It's a player that's not going to care what the fans think or not going to fight for the fans, because they'll be shunned out straight away, whether you're on 500k, whether you're on 300k, whether you're on 30 million a week. If you don't have that relationship with the fans, and if you're going to disrespect the fans, you won't be playing at Everton Football Club for very, very long. And I just think if you were to bring Gareth Bale in, let's say in an alternate universe, he wouldn't last very, very long at Everton, and it would be ultimately a complete waste of money. So again, I'm rubbishing that one straight away. It's not going to happen. Let's be perfectly honest, it's not going to happen. There's too much money at being involved. He wouldn't take a massive pay cut to come to Everton. If Gareth Bale turned around and said, listen, I'll come to Everton for 50k, I just want to get out of Real Madrid, I don't want to be here anymore, I'll come and I'll play for Everton for 75k a week, and I'll have a fantastic relationship with the fans, and I'll work my bollocks off week in, week out, then we might look at it and go, you know what, he's got a little bit, yes, he's getting on a little bit, but he's still got the pace, he's still got the skill, and he's still a fantastic player. But he's not going to do that. In fact, he'd probably want more money to come to Everton, and that's never going to happen. So I'm banging that one in the rubbish category straight away. If you're enjoying the stream so far, please do leave a like. Now we'll talk about Aaron Ramsey on a slightly different, like I said, I don't want to talk about them together because together it's definitely not going to happen, but separately, potentially. So there's a rumour, again in the same article by Marca, as to state that Gareth Bale's unhappy at Real Madrid and Aaron Ramsey is unhappy at Juventus. He's unhappy with the game time, and he doesn't really like how it's gone since moving there last summer. Now, this one I think is a little bit more feasible. Again, the massive issue with this situation is his wage, is his money, is the money he'd want. He was on massive money at Arsenal, and he moved to Juventus not only to go and win trophies or to go and extend his career or whatever bullshit the players say these days. He went for an awful lot more money as well. And Aaron Ramsey, again, is another player that I would expect was on 250,000 pounds a week potentially. So if he was to come to Everton, I could see this one being a little bit more likely if it was a loan. That was rumoured. If it was a loan deal rumoured, as to say that Everton might take him back on loan for the season and let him play in the Premier League, let him get his fitness up, let him have a run around for the season in the Premier League, and then go back to Juventus and maybe they can utilise him then. The fact that, again, I'm going to put it in the maybe potentially as Aaron Ramsey on his own, purely because he's the type of player that I wouldn't put it past Everton to buy. He's that type of midfielder. He at the end of the day, let's be perfectly honest, we could do with a player like Aaron Ramsey, preferably not somebody that gets as many injuries as Aaron Ramsey, but Aaron Ramsey is very good on the ball, can create a lot of chances and can get forward, I can score goals himself as well, and notoriously can hit a ball, I can create fantastic opportunities. If you can keep Aaron Ramsey fit for the season and you can keep his attitude, well and right for the season, then you've got a fantastic player on your hands. So again, that's why I'm putting it in the maybe category, because I think it's slightly feasible with the fact that he probably does want a little move away from Juventus, even if it's on a year loan deal or a 2-year loan deal. And he is the type of player that we need at the moment and we could potentially go for. The reason that it's sort of pushing me away from the make it happen is, again, it is wages. FFP would massively hold, again, a deal like this up, because Aaron Ramsey, there's no way Everton could bring him in and pay him 250 grand a week. And I don't know much about the player, I don't know much about the personality, but again, similar to the Gareth Bale situation, he's got no alliances to Everton, he's not grown up an Everton fan. I can't see him taking a massive pay cut just to come to Everton Football Club. In fact, I could see him wanting more money, exactly like Gareth Bale, because he's going from Juventus to Everton, who at the moment aren't playing in Europe and at the moment aren't challenging for any immediate league title. Carlo Ancelotti's a massive pull, and if Carlo Ancelotti's enough to make Aaron Ramsey think, you know what, I'll go there for a season, or I'll move there, I'll see what it's like, then, you know, fantastic. But again, his wages are a massive issue there. We probably wouldn't be able to pay it, or we wouldn't be willing to pay it, and I don't think he'd take that massive pay cut. On top of that as well, with Aaron Ramsey, you'd have to think that if Juventus come out and said, right, we're going to put Aaron Ramsey up for sale, or we're going to put him out for a loan deal, you know, we want him to go back to the Premier League for a year, you know, the first team that'd be straight in there, and it would be Arsenal, because Arsenal, again, could do with a player like Aaron Ramsey, a creative midfielder, somebody that, you know, picks the ball up, moves it forward, can hit a ball, and can create opportunities. They're crying out for somebody like that as well. And obviously he's got the alliance there with Arsenal, he's got the past there with Arsenal, he's got the history, so he would be more likely to go to Arsenal. So I'm putting that one in the maybe towards the very, you know, towards the rubbish, but it's in between, I'd say, because it's a little bit more feasible than the Gareth Bale situation. But again, the money, you know, the money, his wages would hold it up, and if they were to sell him the amount of money they'd want in transfer fee, it'd hold it up, as well as the fact that if he was for sale, I dare say Arsenal would be one of the clubs that was straight in there, and he would probably favour the Arsenal move over Everton, and understandably, to be fair to the lad as well. Anyway, final transfer I want to talk about in this episode before we get into the live comments and before we ultimately end the episode is one I've literally just read 20 minutes ago, just before starting this live stream, and it's a rumour linking Manchester United's Jesse Lingard to Everton Football Club, and it comes from the Metro, and the actual article states that Everton and Arsenal, I believe it was, interested in a move for the Manchester United midfielder, and I'm going to put this in rubbish straight away for one of the reasons I mentioned before, and that is because I absolutely, under no circumstance, want Everton to go anywhere near Jesse Lingard. No disrespect to the lad whatsoever, but I think he's absolutely shite. I really do think he's shite. He's done nothing in the last 18 months to 2 years at Manchester United. He's not created anything. I think he scored 1 goal in the last, calendar year or something, or in the previous calendar year, 2019, he scored 1 goal, no assists for Man United, and he gets his fair share of game time. Okay, he doesn't start every week, and his game time's going to be a lot less now that Bruno Fernandes has come in, but he got an awful lot more game time than his stats, you know, would suggest. Having no goals and no assists in that period of time that he had as an attacking midfielder is simply embarrassing. And I'm not going to go along the argument that a lot of Man United fans might go along with, is that we need to focus more on his footy rather than his air or elsewhere. I don't give a shit about that. As far as I'm concerned, focus loads on your air, focus loads on your fashion, focus loads on your style, if you're doing it on the pitch as well. If you're not doing it on the pitch, I don't care about anything else. Why aren't you doing it on the pitch? And for me, purely Jesse Lingard just isn't good enough. If he's not good enough to play for Man United, then he's not good enough to play for Everton. I'm sorry, but Man United aren't this type of club anymore like they were 10 years ago, where, you know, we could take a Tim Howard off them, we could take a Phil Neville off them, we could take a Louis Saha off them, we could take players off them and utilise them. Man United are in and around our level, despite what any Man United fan will tell you about them winning all sorts and being this massive club. At the moment, their club and their team is on the same level, I would say, as Everton, if not only slightly above, and I definitely wouldn't be taking Jesse Lingard off them, because for me, he's nowhere near good enough to play in any side in the Premier League that are challenging for European football, and at the end of the day, we are one of those sides. Now, Ancelotti might be able to get a tune out of him, but I purely just think that there's not enough quality of the player, and again, he'd cost us 20 million, 25 million. They'd want something like that for him, and I just don't think he's worth even half of that, to be perfectly honest with you. So again, I'm putting that in the rubbish category because I really don't want it to happen. But if we're being completely honest with ourselves, I know this will probably upset a few people, but it is a notorious classic Everton signing, isn't it? It's a notorious... You look at the signings that we've made over the years, your Tom Cleverleys, you know, players like that. It's a notorious Everton signing, a player that comes in from a club like that who we know already isn't that good and isn't going to do much, and then leaves after 3 years of being in Everton after not doing much. It's that type, you know, it's another one of those situations in it, and I just hope to God that something's changed under Ancelotti and something's changed under Brands, and they go, now, no, you know what, he's not good enough, so we're not bringing him in, rather than he's not good enough for United, but maybe he's good enough for Everton. For me, if he's not good enough for United, he's not good enough for anything. So Everton. So I'm putting that one in the rubbish category straight away. Let me know your thoughts on that one, as well as all of the transfer rumours we've discussed so far in the comment section down below. Right, let's get into the live comments now before we end this team. If you're enjoying, please do leave a like. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe as well. Eugene says Everton link with Jesse Lingard, Notar. Eugene also says Ancelotti plot Napoli swoop. We'll talk more about some Napoli players next week. Eugene said, did you watch Everton versus Man City from 2017? I didn't. I missed it, unfortunately. But what a game that was as well. Again, another one of the the better Everton performances I've seen in recent years. Eugene says Louis Ndama linked with Everton. I haven't seen that one, mate, yet. I'll have to have a look at it. Ethan says, thoughts on the link with Allen and Lozano from Everton. Would you take a Kone from Lille? So I suppose I'll take some of your suggestions now for the next sort of 5-10 minutes or so, and I'll throw them in each category as well. In terms of Allen and Lozano, I'd say for Lozano, go out and get him now, make it happen. And for Allen, I'd say feasible, maybe not. Again, we've seen more of the Allen link, so I'll believe it a little bit more because different publications are mentioning it and we're seeing it a lot more often. In terms of Lozano, we haven't seen as much, but I would really, really like us to sign him, and obviously they've both got that Ancelotti connection. In terms of Kone, I'd take him. I would take him. Again, I don't think there's much in it. I don't even think he could fit in any of the categories. Maybe make it happen potentially, but I haven't seen many solid transfer rumours linking him to Everton. But I would take him. Wayne says, yes, Cam, for the April 20, 2021, single stake, £10 return, 190 virtual national, NHS charities together. Is right, mate, is right, well done. Everton interview says, hello, lad, hello, mate, I hope you're doing well. Wayne says, right back, centre back, goal scoring centre mid, I needed another striker or a wide man, couldn't argue with that. Everton TV says, Bernard rumours were bollocks. We know Ancelotti was happy with Bernard, and Bernard highly rates Carlo's style of football. Spot on. He also says Moise Kean, lad. Yes. Wayne says sell Walcott, Sigurdsson, Kean. Hopefully it will be Delph. Can't see them two going through. Well, we'll talk more about sales as well in the next episode next Monday. Remember, we'll be doing an episode of the Talking Rubbish Transfer Show every Monday at 5:15 p.m. So join us every Monday for this episode. If you're enjoying it, if you like it, let me know. Let me know in the live comments. Let me know in the YouTube comments. You like this idea? Do you like me going through talking about transfers and basically splitting them into what I think is absolute dross and never going to happen and potentially feasible, and then make it happen. Eugene says it's only newspaper talk. It is. Everton FC is the best. I was thinking about quitting my fan page, getting a lot of hate from Everton fans and stuff. Doesn't make me feel nice, to be honest. I'm not too sure why you're getting a lot of hate. Go and give Everton FC is the best. Loads and loads of love. Don't quit it, mate. Don't quit it. We all have bad times, but if you're watching, go and give him loads of love. Wayne says, would rather sell Iwobi than Bernard. I probably would as well, to be honest, if I had the option, if I had to choose between them both, sorry. Everton interview says, just 2 subs off 300 now. Stay safe, mate. I couldn't stay around much longer. No problem. Go and sub to Everton interview if you haven't already. James says, Iwobi's a good player. There's players around him similar to Walcott, potentially. Tuesday Delaney says, best player at Everton is Gomez. I'd probably say he's the most calm and naturally gifted centre midfielder. But again, Gomez, it'd be absolutely fantastic in a side with a centre midfielder that provides goals, that creates opportunities, like Gylfi Sigurdsson did last season. But at the moment, Gomez is in a side with far too many players that do the same job as him, and it sort of doesn't highlight as good as he is, as much as we'd like it. Wayne says, look like the squad banter, they look like United. Hernandez says, Gareth Bale to Everton has to be rubbish. Contact and significant injury list should already be enough to throw it away. Exactly, and to spend... To pay a player 500, 600 grand a week to not have a full season guaranteed out of him is for me, is a massive risk. Ewan says, what is Everton's worst player of all time? Ashley Williams? No, there's loads, mate. Alcatraz. Alcaraz, his name is, obviously it's not Alcatraz. Alcaraz. Strachwalesi. Nias. There's loads, mate. There's loads. Tuesday says, Everton need more money to buy more players. We do. David says Everton have the money, but FFP holds us up. Well, it doesn't until Man City overturn their ban on UEFA and ruin UEFA. It does. Stu Mack says, Everton just need to get rid of their overhyped English players and keep the likes of Calvert-Lewin. Attitude is king. Ramsey would be a much better addition than Gomez. He flatters on the ball, but he is hopeless off the ball. He got found out of Barcelona, cash in and spend much of the sale on Ramsey's wages. Lingard, Jesus Christ, hopeless on and off the ball, egotistical. He'll be around at Palace. I probably agree with that one. I'd like to keep if I could, ideally, Gomez, and if I could bring in Ramsey, like I said, and he wouldn't have these massive demands and he'd be happy to get his head down and work at the club, then I probably would. You're right. God says, not in a million years would I want Jesse at the club. Me too, mate. Some beer on numero uno says, no way that Brands is looking at Lingard. Let's hope so. He says the EPL was a pub league 10 or 12 years ago. That's why Everton used to take their casts off. Carlo focuses of selfless players. Ambrosini and Albertini played for years under him at Milan. Spot on. Esteban says, Lingard, no offence to the lad, but he's absolutely shite. Haha, I agree. It's true. And again, it is true. And I don't mean offence to him, but please don't sign him, Everton. Please don't sign him. Esteban also says, desperate need of a confident winger, somebody to bring the midfield to life, crying out for a creator. And I agree, and I think that's where Bernard goes a little bit wrong, is that he's not got that confidence. Ultimately, a lot of the time he hasn't got the confidence to have a shot or cut in and have a shot or take, a couple of players on it. He does sometimes, I think, pick the ball up and worry a little bit and just want to get it passed off or just want to get it crossed in. Whereas, how good would Bernard be if he was playing on 100% confidence? How good would he be if he took people on, if he slot inside every game, if he done what he done against Watford every single game? We'd have literally a 15 to 20 goal a season winger on our hands. I really, really do believe that. Somebody else says, loving this transfer show, fantastic, really do appreciate it, thanks very much. Esteban says, great team tonight, keep it up, thanks very much, really do appreciate that. And Wayne says, like the name for the show is, it's 95% bullshit and 100% if it's, I'm not going to name them, but yeah, it's spot on. Anyway, if you've enjoyed today's team, please do hit that like button. That's going to do it for the first episode of the Talking Rubbish Transfer Show. If you've enjoyed, let me know by hitting that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe as well. Only 20 subscribers away from 1,700, so if you've subscribed, fantastic, thank you very, very much. If you know anybody that's into Everton, whether it be your dad, your brother, your mates, and they haven't checked us out or they haven't subscribed already, share the channel. Let's get it shared to as many people as possible. Once again, massive thanks to everybody in the live comments. Massive thanks to everybody for getting involved as per usual. It really, really does mean a massive amount to me. It really, really does. And don't forget, we'll be back on Wednesday, of course, at 5:15 for another live stream. But if you've enjoyed the Talking Rubbish Transfer Show, we'll be back every single Monday at 5:15 to talk more about mostly rubbish transfers and maybe some that have got a little bit of feasibility in there as well, if that's even a word. I've probably just made that up. But anyway, big thanks for watching. Like I said, if you've enjoyed, please do hit that like button. It means a massive amount to me. Subscribe to the channel if you're new as well. Big thanks to everybody that's purchased a badge or some badges as well from us. We've still got a couple left. We've got a few left, about 20. So if you want to purchase a badge, get over to our Twitter, DM us at MightyBluesYT, and we'll go through the information and stuff over there. Massive thank you to everybody that's purchased a badge so far. Really, really do appreciate it. I'll show you them now in case you haven't seen them before. There they are. It's a little Mighty Blues badge, as you can see, the logo with a nice blue background. Really, really nice, really, really well designed as well. So if you want to purchase one of them, they are £2 each, with 50% going to Everton in the community. So head over to our Twitter at MightyBluesYT, drop us a DM, and we'll talk a little bit more about that one. But anyway, that's going to do it for today. Massive thanks for watching. Steve Max says, keep it up, mate. You seem very balanced. Thank you very much. Many of these other fan channels never engage with the ideas. They often don't vary from their own narrow narrative. Keep it up. Well, I'm definitely up for changing things about, and especially at this time when obviously everything's up in the air and there's a lot of things we can talk about and there's a lot of things we can change. I'm definitely up for bringing in new ideas, new concepts, new shows, and other people's opinions as well. It's no point me coming out and saying the Bernard room is total bullshit, the Bernard room is total rubbish, and then someone else saying, well, I actually think there might be a little bit in it. We've got to take everybody's opinion and everybody's thoughts into consideration, of course. And thank you very much, Stu. And Eugene says, see you about the toffees. Thanks, Eugene. See you on Wednesday. And Wayne says, nice one, lad. Have a good week, Blues. Thank you very much, Wayne. You too. Anyway, that's going to do it for today. If you've enjoyed, please hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. Join us on Wednesday, 5:15 for another live stream. And we'll be talking more Everton news then. Big thanks for watching. Let me know if you like this idea and if you like this show. Let me know in the comments and let me know by leaving a like. Massive thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon on the Mighty Blues.